Hi, Julia. Lovely to meet you today. So I'm Serena Sabatini, and I'm a researcher at the University of Exeter. And what I look is at the way in which people perceive aging and at the age-related changes that they experience in their daily life. So what I've found so far is that although the people recognize that there are some challenges related to getting older, there are also many things to be positive about. For instance, older people report having more free time to spend the way they want, and this could be spending time with grandchildren, engaging in new hobbies, or spending time with friends. What I found interestingly is that when people with dementia have more positive attitudes towards aging, they also tend to report a better quality of life and better psychological well-being compared to those people with dementia who have more negative attitudes towards aging. And this is where it would be interesting to hear your opinion, because we acknowledge that it can be hard for people with dementia to be positive about aging. But perhaps we think that there could still be something to be done at societal level in order to promote more positive views of older people in general. For instance, the media play a big role in promoting and emphasizing negative views of older people by showing pictures of older people who are struggling or lonely. So it would be great to hear your opinion about this.
I'm Julia, and well, I am old. There's no doubt about it. I am old, and I retired from my full-time job as a teacher when I was 60. I was very lucky then. You were able to actually do that, but I continued for a long time. In fact, I'm just about to give it up for marking and moderating A-level subjects. I've always wanted to keep my brain going, and also connection with young people, which I got in through that way. As an examiner, a principal examiner for A-level, I was meeting young teachers. A very important thing is keeping within different age groups. And when I retired as well, my mother had dementia. At about the time I was retiring, she had dementia. She was in a care home. So obviously I noticed lots of differences about her. And when she got further into dementia, I know everyone's different, but she was sort of happier. She was very playful, and she enjoyed, she giggled, she enjoyed funny things. She would still be able to make jokes, and she would laugh when she used to get very muddled with language, and we all used to laugh about it. And so I know I've always felt that part of an important thing to do when you're aging, when you're older, is not to suddenly behave in a way that puts you in the cupboard, and you have to be serious. So I think that activity and playfulness is everything, really. So when I did retire from my main job, and after my mother had died, not only did I do quite a lot of voluntary work, actually all connected with the Alzheimer's Society to start with, because that was where I wanted to understand more about dementia. And I helped in the end, I was a lead volunteer in a memory cafe for about 5 years. And that was, I was using some teaching skills in terms of making up activities that involved everybody, and involved laughing and drawing sometimes. It was just anything. And again, this playfulness, it's catching. So I was always looking for fun. I have grandchildren. I have a number of grandchildren. The youngest is 4 and the oldest is 25. So we've always had, in having been a school teacher, we've always done childcare in the holidays. And we've had, in fact, I've just had a FaceTime from 4 grandchildren from 2 different families sitting on the side of Loch Lomond. They've all met up together, and that was fun. Yeah, young people, and but also keeping your mind going. Again, a few years after I stopped being a teacher, I started a book group in a local cafe. I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to be teacherish. I wanted a new role, and so it was I didn't know anyone. I just put a notice up, and that's still going. That book group. It's many years old now, and it's lovely. That's a way again of meeting new people.
It seems that you have done quite a few things that help you to stay positive and,
yes.
and keep being positive and view aging in a positive way. Since that you have engaged with your grandchildren, kept being active, engaged in new activities. So lots of good examples for other people to be positive about. For what you said about yourself and also about your mom being positive while having dementia and still having good time. I think that there's this sort of clash between the way people perceive aging, the way they get older, and the way they experience life while getting older, and the way in which other people see them, or our society see them. What do you think?
Well, I agree. And another thing that I've joined up with is a society for women. 60 plus, but you can join a different group if you're younger.
Okay. And would you like to tell us the name of the society?
The name of the society is the Red Hat Society.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of red hats here I can show you if you
so,
want.
Yeah, would you like to tell us why it's called Red Hat Society?
Yes, it was set up. The Red Hat Society was set up in America ages ago now, maybe 15, maybe longer years ago, by a woman who's had a friend who was going to be turning 50. And this friend was really rather depressed about it. She was thinking, oh, that's the end, you know, won't do anything much more except just sit here and get old. Anyway, the friend remembered, the woman who started it, remembered the poem by Jenny Joseph, which is called Warning. And it starts off something like, when I am old, I shall wear purple and a red hat that doesn't go. And then I can't remember the rest of it all, but it's all the things you'll do, which includes running your stick along the railings, learning how to spit is quite a good one. Eating sausages and butter and just not bothering. What's interesting is when Jenny Joseph wrote that poem, she was 30. So she was feeling that about the time of life when you just begin to feel you're not young and you're responsible. But it was taken up by these people in America, and they started off, one of them was given a red hat, and they went out to tea together. And that has started an international organization, which is all over the world, largely in English-speaking countries, but not particularly. I've met Dutch and Belgian red hatters. I don't know where else, because there are conventions. There are conventions. Anyway, so the motto or the purpose of the Red Hat Society is to have fun and friendship. And at a time when, for most people, not for everybody, but for most people, their life of looking after their children, of having a job, of probably not having any leisure time at all, having stopped doing all the things they did when they were young, it's the opportunity to be young again. And where I live, we have what we call a chapter. So they're divided into chapters, like Hell's Angels have chapters. And the outings that we do are called hoots, because there's plenty of hooting with laughter. It varies. There is an organization called the British Red Hatters, which keeps a list of chapters that one can join. And really there are very few rules, because everybody wants to do exactly what they want. My particular chapter breaks one of the very important rules the Americans have, where they think there shouldn't be anyone, no chapter should be bigger than 20. Well, we've had over 50 for a long time in our chapter. And we go out together and to all sorts of things. I mean, of course, the pandemic has affected this. Some of us have been able to keep in contact by Zoom, but many people haven't got those skills, but they're kept in, we keep them informed with emails. And I designed a card. I'm going to show you this.
Yeah.
If I can do it at here.
Yeah, I can see. Okay.
That I got a card from. I painted that, and then I shrank it into photos. And
so you have so many skills.
I delivered it to nearly everybody in the local Red Hat Society, which meant a lot of driving and walking. And it was in the lockdown. And I made a limerick. Here sits a lonely red hatter who's longing to have a good natter. When next we all meet, then life will be sweet and we won't hear the birds for the chatter. And we
That's
have
amazing.
met some of the people in the Red Hat Society, like me. I've got a full life, and husband, children, grandchildren, and so on. There are plenty of people in our local chapter who are on their own. And for some of these people, it's given them the opportunity, lockdown accepted, to go to the theatre with a group of people, to go to the restaurant with a group of people, to do silly things, like go on the swan boats in the local park, to go to, to go 10-pin bowling. Quite a lot of people go 10-pin bowling. So there's a group of maybe 10 people, and it's all fun. It's not very serious. So it's certainly socializing, and it's also playing. It's playing, and part of the play is collecting things to wear. I mean, I've got a purple top on here.
Okay.
So the idea that we have what we call the colors, that you wear purple clothes and then a red hat.
Okay.
The hat can be any kind you like. Should be as big as possible.
Can we see your hat? No.
Okay, this is an everyday hat.
Okay. Oh, I like it.
To anywhere. That's an easy one. And then there's some. This is one. It was an old hat bought in a charity shop and sprayed red with lots of feathers on.
Oh, I love them.
So that's when we've been to various dressed up occasions. Those are the sort of things we wear. So we feel that we're making a splash of colour, and we found it cheers people up. All sorts of people, and it gives a good example, and it makes us feel positive
of what aging can be.
Obviously, there's safety in numbers. I mean, if I walked along the street in that hat, I might feel a bit strange, but it's really good fun. And one of the things, for example, we used to do was go to a town we didn't know, meet up somewhere, and trawl the charity shops for purple and red clothes, which in itself is really good fun. The organisation.
How you heard about this society?
I heard about it because a woman in the area where I live had a relation in America, and so she went to America, and then she started it, and she put a notice in the local paper, and then at one point we had lots of press releases about what we were doing, and we are actually part of the civic society. And at one point, so there is a serious side to it to an extent. I mean, so we're represented when it's the November date when
the Remembrance.
The Remembrance Day. Thank you very much. Then we go together, some of us, and one of us, it was me once, lays a wreath on the war memorial, and has to do the walking backwards bit, which can be a challenge. But yes, so it's very involved in that. We're very involved in. Not just with each other, but in things that are happening in the area.
I was curious, as you have been a carer of a person with dementia, do you think that has changed the way you see aging?
Yes, I mean, one way, of course, which everyone must, is that having seen this decline, you want to make the best of every day. I mean, really
well, that's a good.
It really is carpe diem, because my mother wanted to paint, and a lot of things she wanted to do, and she didn't give herself time to do it. But another thing is that the playfulness, that you don't have to be serious. You can actually enjoy life, and even when I mean, some of the Red Hatters and some of my friends, we sort of will. But you have to be careful. I take a stick if I'm walking in the countryside. Nobody wants to fall down. There's a sort of awareness that from seeing my mother being frail, an awareness. But I don't. I accept that, and I'm not. I think you have to face up to the fact that your body is not going to be as strong as it was, and so you've got to wear a cardigan when it's cold, not wear high heel shoes when you're going for a walk, and just generally be responsible for yourself, but but do not feel frightened. It's very important, I think, to just go for anything that you think might be worth doing.
Well, I think that's great. That's the perfect approach, because it's important to recognize limitation, but also keep being engaged and not being frightened by those limitations, right? And I mean, you're an excellent example. You do so many things.
Well, I think it's an example. I think we need more examples to contradict those media examples. You know, it's I think I don't know if we still have that road sign in England. I knew an American once who said that it wouldn't be allowed in America, of old people crossing, and there are two people all hunching with a stick. You know, there has been terrible stereotypes about aging, and you know, you're the same person is there under the grey hair. It's exactly the same person with the same sense of humor, and in fact more so sometimes, because you can be more relaxed, far more relaxed, when you don't have to take the worry and the responsibility for the things that you had to take before. I think it's important to remember that, not worry about your body slowly.
You know what, I think that your positive attitude may also help your mom to live with dementia with a more positive attitude.
Thank you.
I feel like your positive energy and your engagement, maybe it's something you have always shared between the two of us, or
I wrote
they gave a good atmosphere, I guess.
Yes, I wrote that silly poem, and she always used to write silly poems.
Okay.
So and she would still have the joke of the joke, still the humor of. I think there still is a sense of humor, and there's too much tiptoeing around people with dementia, and not just, pointing at something silly, and you can just enjoy the laughter together. We can feel very solemn and upset when we're caring with someone with dementia, but in fact, if you can break through that possibly with some humor or some affection.
And I guess you have seen during all your volunteering activities. I've done some volunteering for the Alzheimer's Society actually as well. I used to do Singing for the Brain.
Oh, did you?
And I've seen, I had great fun. Everyone was having great fun, and I didn't see those negative stereotypes about.
No, and I think that's another thing. You get great. It is. People with dementia are great fun. I really.
And also I
enjoy it.
I was new to England, so they were telling me all these historical facts about England, and I learned so many English songs.
Yes, I think we learn a lot from people with dementia. Sometimes they haven't, they talk about things that they have never talked about before, and one learns an awful lot about them and about their lives. It's really interesting.
I guess we all gone through COVID, so we all have this. I guess COVID was a reminder of how our society also treats and sees people of different ages. I guess COVID is one of those situations where you tend to differentiate groups more. So I really like when Julia said that you have done a lot of work also with children, because interaction is really positive, both for older people, but also for children, because they learn a lot, but they also get a sense of what older age can be, in a more positive sense. But then in situations like COVID, I guess the generation can be more I don't know, there's this view of older people being more frail.
I think one of the things I noticed recently, I think I observed recently, is that small children, the smallest grandchild of mine, she was 4 last week, and they did come to stay without their parents in the holidays, and they just behaved very differently. And I think they liked our stillness, our relative stillness that my husband and I have. He's sitting reading a book, I'm doing what I'm doing, something. Whereas their children, their parents are buzzing everywhere, they're busy all the time. And somehow that, as you say, that mixing of the age groups works beautifully both ways, because they have your whole attention, and this is where you are.
And this is really present in Italy. There are, it's common for parents to go to work, but leave their children with grandparents. It's almost expected from grandparents. I don't know how much grandparents enjoy this, having them all the time, but it's really frequent.
The understanding I think we have culturally, well, from our media really, about aging in other countries, or attitudes towards aging, is that in other countries they respect the older people far more. And do what they say. The families I know, they spend more time with each other, but it seems that the adult children take more care of communicating with their older ones.